Ghost Hunter fans, eat your heart out. Malibu Horror Story is about to arrive. The movie combines what we loved about the early 2000s found footage films with some of the more satisfying guilty pleasures of the 2010s. It's a story full of lore and mystery that has many layers, wrapped up in a format possibly only found footage fans would appreciate. It's raw and direct, but does it bring back all of the tired aspects of the found footage fandom? I will apologize upfront from saying found footage so much in this video. I'll try to refer to it as FF. To mix it up a little bit, but I will be saying it a lot. The movie starts in the middle of a ghost investigation of the group called Paranormal Files. 4 young friends gather together in a canyon to try and find 4 teenagers who mysteriously disappeared 7 years earlier. Lucky for them and us, they have left behind some cryptic clues in the form of an SD card. Yes, found footage within the found footage horror movie. It's a nice little twist to this extremely predictable genre and movie. And make no mistakes, I am a found footage fan. I love them no matter how raw and simple they may be executed. So just keep in mind, I am coming from a lover's perspective. The aspect that Malibu Horror Story excels in is its exposition. It's a blend of media coverage, historical photos and clippings, and of course, FF found footage, which is edited in a very clever way to give a small, kind of like a drip feed reveal, twist after twist for its audience. This may be a basic haunted story, but it does have immense lore and is deeply layered. I really appreciate the care they gave in revealing each turn to the audience at a particular time. As soon as one aspect started to feel a little bit tired, it would flip around and we were given a whole new perspective. This is the same story we have seen before, just reframed, respliced, and in a fresh format. And the cinematography is kind of what you would expect. It has those whipping movements that some people complain about, but it's also cut to appear like a TV episode, so a lot of it is broken up in segments, so it's not too much at one time. It limits its handheld movement, which at times feels like an ice break, but because of this, the film loses some of that rawness that people are so fond of that helps build up the tension within these films. Make no mistake, this isn't all about sounds in the dark Blair Witch style. I mean, it definitely has its moments, but a lot of the film does focus on the unwinding mystery, the history of this place where these teenagers disappeared. And the aspects involving the paranormal TV show are stylized in a different manner. Although the film is mostly reliant on found footage, it breaks the mold and all of the rules by showing a third-person perspective, shot from a completely different camera. It's softer and more vibrant, and perhaps this is intentional to show the juxtaposition between the old footage and current day, but it does take away from some of that movie magic because found footage is reliant on being found footage. Usually the point of that format is it's meant to be realistic. They're meant to have found this piece of footage. It messes with the audience's viewpoint, it being inserted into a film with a very polished narrative. Polished, I'm using that very loosely, but a completely different format and style. And it also loses a lot of tension. Although it's fun to switch up things like I was speaking about earlier, and it keeps the audience on their toes, it doesn't work with the subgenre because that is what it's all about. Things slowly happening to people caught on film. And when you break that up, you lose some of that build. And going back and forth with the timeline makes the audience feel displaced and unable to sink into the atmosphere surrounding what we're meant to be haunted by. And it also felt like a huge disconnect from the characters. We bounce from group to group, and just as we're understanding the inner dynamics of some of the friendships, we switch back up, which leads to the thing I liked the least about this film, which is the chemistry between all of the characters. The dialogue was at times insufferable. I do think this could be summed up to being about teenagers, wild teenagers, authentic in their poor banter, really committed to that part. But the chemistry just didn't work for me, and I felt like some of the scenes were just poorly acted. It takes what would have been a shake-up of the subgenre and holds it back from it becoming something entirely new. While I appreciate the creativeness in how the film was put together, the film will only work for those who are dedicated to the subgenre and are willing to put in the time and are okay with some doubtful performances. The story is interesting and the mystery element is fun, but its cleverly diverted setup takes some of the steam out of the most satisfying aspects of found footage. It feels like it's broken up into into segments like a web series, and it halts its chances of pulling the right audience in. In the end, it relies heavily on performances of characters that are both unbelievable and a cold sell to the audience. Do I recommend checking this one out at cinemas? Unfortunately, no. I was waiting for this one to get better, and I had high hopes from the mystery at the start. I felt like it was a really good pull-in, it was really alluring, and I loved the lore and the layered aspect. But the performances and the dialogue, I couldn't get past, and then when the setup kind of killed its own tension, cut it off at the knees, I was hoping there was a chance to save it, but it just never came around. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 10. I'm only giving it a 5 because I really appreciated the detail in the lore, otherwise it would have been a 4. For the performances and the way the story was executed. For originality, I'm gonna give it a 2, and for scare, I'm gonna give it a 3. I wanted to love this film as always. Are you a found footage horror fan? Let me know what was the last found footage film that you loved. I would love to know. Leave me some recommendations down below. And if you have checked out the new series, The Fall of the House of Usher, you may want to check out my new video, which explains some of the finer details behind the TV show. Spoilers in that one, so make sure you watch it after you've finished binging the show. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.